Say hi. All right, we ready, G.
All right, cool.
Yeah, girl, get it right.
Right.
We got Markasa. She is on fire this morning.
In 3, 2, 1.
I got a woman down with me. Big shout out to all the women down with me. What's happening, Milwaukee? This is the Educational Arts Project. I'm your host, Viva Fidel. Welcome to the Pulse 101.3 FM radio. We always start out by welcoming back all of our new listeners, welcoming all of our new listeners and the people who've been spreading the word, helping the community know about what's happening on this platform on 101.3 FM. Big shout out to everybody involved in making it possible, all the underwriters and the sponsors and people that are behind and support the programs that you hear. Thank you. We appreciate you. We appreciate you. Everybody that's been spreading the word about the Educational Arts Project, all my past guests, all the listeners, we love you. What's going on? We live today and each and every Thursday morning. I'm gonna jump right into it today. Josh, I might need some instrumentals and everything. You know what I'm saying? I got Josh on the boards, the man himself, and in the studio with me this morning, I had a very, very, very electric guest. She's on fire this morning. She's on fire usually if you see her in the streets. Very dedicated and very humble. And I've been asking her for a while to come on the show and, you know, just communicate and sort of tell her story and share some processes and some engagement with the people. Because on the Educational Arts Project, we talk about education, we talk about arts. That's self-explanatory. My guests are experts at what they do. So a lot of times what we dive into is the business of art, the business of education. You spoke on it early when we were just briefly talking. You was like, you know, paying bills, like certain things that we do as educators, as artists, as organizers might, you know, be sacrificial work ultimately because it doesn't pay the bills all the time. Bring it down a little bit before I start freestyling. Yeah, you can bring it down all the way in the back, G. So just for the record, you know, the business of it, and also the community, the fabric of like what goes into organizing, all the different aspects, organization, when in regards to media and art. So we've had different people from theater to dance to poetry to hip hop to film. We've had all different aspects of art and culture represented here because we want to like get a collective perspective and talk about like what it takes as individuals, and then what it takes for all of us to really like connect the dots and the work that we're doing, and then expanding the work that we're doing. And this goes out all around the world, you know. So we're not just talking to Milwaukee. We want to shout out the listeners from everywhere that's tuned in, that check in with me throughout the week and give me feedback on the conversation. I appreciate it, and my guests appreciate it as well. And we sharing it, and we creating the next level of what that's going to look like to continue the conversations of solution building that we do right here each and every Thursday morning. So tell a friend, and make sure you tune in. I gotta like, I don't know. I'm just like, y'all don't know what I'm about to unleash on y'all. I got Markasa with me today. Markasa Tucker. Can I say that?
Yep. She's
a giant in her own right, and she's growing. And I be paying attention. So just know that. Everybody out there, just know that I be paying attention. All right? I'm like an all-seeing eye out here. How you doing?
I'm well. How are you? Good morning.
I'm awesome. You turned it up this morning instantly as soon as I just said, hey, how you doing? She said...
And let it go,
let
right?
it all out, yes, because it's always going down. It's an action-packed life,
yes,
full of love that we live.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. So introduce yourself just briefly.
So my name is Markasa. I'm born and raised here in Milwaukee. I have two brothers who live here in the city with me. I have a daughter who is my heart, my living outside of my life heart, Zoe. She is a little firecracker just like me in her own little way as a 9-year-old. I am a Christian. I am a community activist. I am my mother and father's daughter. I'm a cousin, a godmother. It's so many hats. And I just trip myself out how, God gives me strength to balance everything that I'm doing. I actually am an office manager during the day. I know people are probably like, oh, that's what you do during the day? How in the world does that equate with all the stuff that you do? I said, it all goes together. Like, definitely it meshes together, but it is definitely a balancing act. But, daily God gives me strength for just what I need for the day. I try not to ask for tomorrow. I need to get what I need for just this morning, then this afternoon, this evening. So, yeah, I am a person full of energy and life and so much love. Like, I feel like if I don't give out and pour out and serve, like, I'll explode. I just feel like I have so much to give, but then, like you said, so much still that I'm learning. But then also, what I want to be able to do is, as I'm learning, to make sure people alongside of me are coming up and learning as well. I think too much we see spaces where people are learning, but they're not developing people underneath them or alongside of them, and especially young folks, because they're who we're going to pass the mantle to. So that right now is very important to me. So as I'm developing myself, making sure that I'm sharing those opportunities with others alongside me.
That's awesome. We are all about that. We are all about the legacy. We are all about the succession of our success.
Yes.
That's real success.
Yes.
When you're sharing it.
Yes.
And so, as you have been sharing it, and you got a lot going on, as you explained to me this morning. Just ask her what's going on, and you'll learn that there's a lot. And that's a beautiful energy, and that's a beautiful place to be in, to where you can balance all the things. So let's get into it. Let's talk about, some people may know you from, how can I say, activism. Mm-hmm. So you explained to me that that's part of your role, and that's part of how you've grown your role, and now you're stepping into that role in even another light. Mm-hmm. Tell us a little bit about what that entails.
Sure.
From an organizational standpoint, because
Okay.
I didn't know even just a little brief snapshot of what you told me.
Sure. So the first thing, I came to Wisconsin Voices in January 2014, I think it was. Charlene Moore from Urban Underground just gave me information about I was just transitioning from managing 2 child care facilities here on the Northwest side, and she knew that I was a person that loves the busy work in the office, and then this was also an opportunity to engage with the community, because Wisconsin Voices deals with a lot of partner organizations in Milwaukee, Madison, Green Bay, and Racine. And so when I was reading some information on their website, it didn't give a whole lot, but I was like, okay, but I see you guys deal with folks in the community, so I thought that would be an awesome way for me to begin to step out into a space that I knew that I wanted to work with. So when I work with folks at the daycare, I was like, you know what, I really love people and I love to work with people. So how can I engage with a degree in mass communications, but to really be with the people? And so as I began working there, shortly thereafter is when Dontre Hamilton was killed. And so for a while, I watched from home, seeing the family, how they dealt in the street, and, just the tragedy around that. And that really tore my heart up. So I decided to go out there.
A lot of people heart.
Man. So I decided, I couldn't watch from home anymore. And so that's when I began to get engaged. And that's really what sparked my interest in activism work. And I became really close with the Hamilton family and walked alongside of them. And I still do. Advocating for their brother, folks that are mentally ill, but then, just the messed up system that needs to be totally broke down, shut down, flipped inside out on its back and started over again. So that's where my passion really came from. And so as I've been an office manager at Wisconsin Voices, they've given me a lot of flexibility to expand my passion. They don't limit me, with us being such a small nonprofit, they don't limit me to just doing office management work, because they can see there's other stuff inside of me that I really want to engage with. So as I've been doing that, I've had the opportunity to work under a project with Wisconsin Voices called the AfricanAmerican Roundtable. And it is pretty much the Black folks of the nonprofit community. And it has been a project, but not having a lot of infrastructure and foundation. We've done a lot of good work together collectively, but it's kind of we kind of jump on what's hot for the moment, but there isn't, like I said, a structure or foundation. So I wanted to come in along with the co-chair, Charmaine Lang, and really help to create a foundation and a structure for the work that we want to do in the community around voter mobilization, civic engagement and community work. And so,
All right.
pause, break.
You good, Josh? Okay. Bring it up a little bit. And okay, now that's how I like my intros to go. Now we can start the show. All right. So Wisconsin Voices. If I just asked you, somebody asked you on the street, what is Wisconsin Voices?
So we are a convening organization of about 50 to 60 partner organizations here, like I said, in Milwaukee, Green Bay, and Madison, and we do civic engagement and voter mobilization work like all year long. So we're not just interested during elections as to whether or not you know what's going on. Like there's a spring election coming up in February.
In a minute. Mm-hmm. Which is important. Mm-hmm. Did y'all know that? Mm-hmm. That entails school board.
Yep.
And that entails judges. Mm-hmm. That's right. So Wisconsin Voices, if people want to know more about that entity and how they can maybe engage or get involved, how is that possible?
We have a website called wisconsinvoices.org. We actually have a racial equity convening that I'm leading next week, Thursday, from 10 to 2 at the Zilber Public Health Center. So if people are interested in that, they can find me on Facebook.
What is that? What is the racial equity? See, now we got a machine gun in the building today, y'all. Hope y'all got your pen and pads out. A lot of information being shared each and every week. And, it's important for us to get the community informed and get the community aware. That's what's going to get us moving forward. If we know what's going on and that there's movement and ways of access and points of connection on the ground with each other, it's so many different ways to get involved. And there's a lot of people that are inspired. A lot of people's hearts are moving them in that direction. And so people like yourself become a gateway. And I'm deliberately bringing on gateways to the show so people can connect. So tell me some of the issues that you all work with. You don't just wait on election season to be present. You don't just wait on a crisis or a tragedy situation to be active or to be involved and engaged with the people. Tell us what Wisconsin Voices is actively involved with at any given time.
Right. So, we were super busy, of course, the last 6 months of the year with the election season. So what we'll do is during the election season, we will hire canvassers to go out and canvass to folks. Just like I said, nonpartisan. Hey, do you know where to vote? Are you registered to vote? Do you need a ride to vote? And just making sure people have access and that they are able to vote. So that's what we did towards the end of last year. And we support our partner organizations in that work in the community or students, whether it be like on campuses, just making sure that people have the access and that they are aware of what's going on.
Shoot out some of the partner organization names right quick that people might be familiar with.
Excellent. So Voces de la Frontera on the south side. Micah works a lot in the community. Citizen Action of Wisconsin. We also work with the ACLU heavily. We have Urban Underground that's also a partner. So those are just some of the partners that we do work with. And it's not just black organizations, not just white organizations. This is women-led, black-led, men-led. So this is a variety of different folks that we are at a table of. We have, like I said, Madison partners, a partner in Madison called Whisper, One Wisconsin Institute. And like I said, all of these partners are on our website. We also do work with Clean Slate Milwaukee as well that does expungement as well. So
if people wanted, if people had those issues or people had those sort of things that they're deliberating with in their life, they could come to Wisconsin Voices and get support or get help.
We can definitely point them in the right direction of maybe what partner organization would be able to help them and provide resources. Yes.
So how do arts and culture play into your work directly that you're framing now as far as the engagement with people, community work, whether it's elections or other things? How do arts and culture play into what you do?
Yeah, so...
And how you do it?
So when I started off with the alternative, which we'll talk about that as well later, but arts we know brings people together. And what I noticed was, again, I have this heart for people, but not everybody knows about what's going on in the arts community. So, there's a little divide. So what I was able to do was to bring artists into community engagement events. We did Bronzeville last year. We did Heal the Hood with Ajamu Butler. And so now the artists are starting to see what the importance is of really them going out and engaging with the community. And so it's making them more aware of what's going on and how important it is for them not to just be about their music or their, their art, but to actually go out and engage with people. But then also the people in the community now are seeing how important art is and how it connects them with the people in the community as well, because there's an art community. So that has been a really awesome thing to be able to bring the two communities together.
So what are some of the issues in Milwaukee that are like really prevalent in your work that you come across that are like really burning issues that need support, that need people on the ground, that need hands on deck? What are some of those things from your point of view?
We need people who know that they are leaders to step up and to help organize in the city of Milwaukee. There are so many issues, and the work that I'm doing at Wisconsin Voices with the AfricanAmerican Roundtable is around, we're thinking of pushing a campaign around gun violence prevention or just violence prevention. And we know in regards to that there's so many root causes to it. We know it's poverty. We know it's joblessness. We know it's hopelessness. We know it's lack of access and awareness of what folks can engage with to even help them with some of their situations. So we want to get to the root of the issues. And a lot of times when we're dealing with certain groups of people, they want to cookie cut that and they want to deal with, the fluffy stuff on the top, but we're not interested in doing fluffy stuff on the top. Like, if we're going to do this work, we're going to get to the root cause, get to the bottom, and that's going to take years and years of work, but we need people who are willing now to begin that work. So just like you said, we can pass this work off to our legacy, to our seeds, our kids, because they're going to continue to have to fight. Like, some of this stuff is not getting better, it's getting worse, but we need to be able to prepare people to do this work. So I see leadership development as like an area that is lacking in the Black community. I believe that some people have the gifts, the talents, and the skills, but they may not know how to hone them in to necessarily organize. It takes perseverance and endurance, but we need to come alongside of each other and encourage one another to walk into our gifts and to do the work necessary to change some of this stuff. Like, it has to start at some point. Like, when is it going to start? Like, who's going to do it? Like, how many times are you going to post about it on Facebook? How many times are you going to complain about it and vent about it until you start walking in your own gift? And what is that going to take for you to do that? And how can we support you to make that happen?
Great question.
I want people to ask themselves that.
Yeah, we all about it. And I want people to think about, those solutions.
Yeah.
I always say, we're open to ask the questions because we really want solutions. We really want answers. We really want to move towards solving things. We're not talking in circles. We're not complaining in circles. We're not into that. And so what is really important is what you're saying, the development and the outreach that is needed. There's a lot happening, to take nothing away from nobody who's out there doing the great work, all the agencies and agents of change on that level, you know what I mean? There's a lot happening, and really we just need to accelerate everything. Indeed. It's just time to accelerate everything.
It's past time.
So past time. It's overdue. You ain't lying.
Yeah.
Tell us about the AfricanAmerican Roundtable, and now that it was maybe a great idea, maybe it was a great theory, maybe it was a great concept, and now you're moving towards maybe actualizing some steps of making it tangible. What is that?
Yes. So again, this is something that I've been involved with since I've been at Wisconsin Voices. And so just recently I was asked to co-chair, like I said, along with another young lady named Charmaine Lang. And so we saw that there's a need in Milwaukee for a collective force of folks to come together to get out of our silos and to do our work and be super impactful. I believe, just like you said, there are lots of social service agency, grassroots, nonprofit that are doing excellent jobs in their space. But just imagine the impact if we can bring some of our forces together, whether it be to just push for one issue or two issues or, just support you on something. And so we saw that need. And so did Wisconsin Voices when they first developed it. But I also saw the need, like I said, that there has to be a foundation and infrastructure so that this can continue to go, because our work is not going to stop next year, 2 years, 3 or 4 years. Like, we have a lot of work to do. So this needs to be something sustainable. Like, it's really important to me to see sustainable entities like working to move forward. Like, if it's not going to be sustainable, then I'm wasting a lot of time on the ground trying to push some things forward if it's not going to last.
So let me ask you this. What makes these things sustainable?
Money. Like, for real, like, I mean, I hate to say that, but like, we need money. Like, the community, grassroots, nonprofit, like, we need money.
Don't hate to say
I mean, because people don't want to hear that, like, oh, you don't just need money. No, we do need money. Like, I need money so that I can spend my time and my days and my hours making this happen. Like, this doesn't take like, 2 and 3 hours. Like, no, this takes like days and nights. Like, I'm up. I was up last night till 12 o'clock trying to write up help develop a letter for some funding. So we need money, we need resources, and we need dedicated people who are going to endure and persevere to make these things really manifest.
And that shared leadership, that idea of shared power within these different momentums that happen is also what makes things sustainable, because when it's not about one person, when it all don't fall on Markasa, then it can move.
Yes.
And everything is not on you, and you're not the only decision maker, and we can't move until you know what I mean? And you already doing 75 other projects because you're that person, and you got to be the gatekeeper of every fucking project.
Man,
it ain't got to be that way. Shared power and shared resources is important, and people have to really start thinking about cooperative mindsets in this work. What you're saying is so important. We're going to talk off air in a minute about some work that we're putting together outside of all this stuff that Wisconsin Voices and you definitely got to be not only involved with, but at the leadership of.
Dope.
Because everybody's a leader, like you said. And we all about that. Bringing those leaders out of our youth, especially, because that's also what makes it sustainable. I tell people all the time, when I'm talking about youth, I'm talking like 6, 7, 8 even.
For real.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, start them early as possible so they grow into it. Not 17, 18 after they already in the streets. And you trying to, let's be really...
Get them real early.
Let's step back and think about what we're doing here and how we make it sustainable and how we support the real people that's going to put it on the line. The Markasas out here and so many others who putting it on the line and have their own families to raise. We talk about that here on the Educational Arts Project. It's a balance. So, let's talk about it a little bit. How do you operate as a mother and doing all the work that you're doing and helping all of the people that you're helping with 2 hands all the time, right? Kicking butt with 2 feet all the time out here. How do you transfer that? And think about this as advice to other parents and other mothers and fathers who may be in the activism mode or who may be artists or educators. How do you impart some of that greatness within your children?
Absolutely. So, I mean, first, every morning is God just doubling down that strength and giving me what I need, particularly for that day. Some days, I go to bed empty and I wake up and he just fills me up again. Like, he sends people alongside of me really to encourage me. People call me or text me, and to be totally honest, it's a very small group of people who really take time to be like, Markasa, I'm just calling to check in on you, see how you're doing. So those little ways that God answers prayer, and that's all I need. That's enough fuel. Just that one call, that one text is all of them. I'm back on it. I'm so glad you called. So, support from family and friends, like my parents, Zoe's dad. I couldn't do anything that I do without my support system of friends turned family, people in my inner circle. I can't do it without that support. And I believe firmly that, when we run across people that we know really got our back, those are the people that you pour into, because those are going to be people that pour back into you. We don't have time to stretch ourselves thin and across the board with people that may not have our best intentions or may not, be willing to support our vision. Sometimes you run into leeches. You have to really be discerning to figure out who that small group of people is that you need behind you to really help you spur what you do. So I can't do any of this without, being able to emailed my cousin yesterday and was like, yeah, can you come sit at the house for 2 hours while I go see Sean King, who's coming to Marquette next Monday, so she can get in bed on time, but I don't have to go and shift her and take her to somebody else's house so they babysit her. No, Markasa, what would be the best thing for you to keep her at home, let her be in bed. She'll be asleep when you leave, but allow that space so that she's comfortable and I'm not shifting her too much. So, just asking God for wisdom on how I can be the best mother that I can be with the responsibilities that he's given me. Just ask advice from my mom or from other people, and just watch how other people maneuver, but also taking time to take breaks.
That's right.
And people tell me all the time, Markasa, what, did you take a break yet? Like, did you eat breakfast? Did you, and people just checking in about normal stuff. So, just also modeling that for Zoe so that she doesn't see me just like running around with like a chicken with my head cut off, but that she sees me taking time where we're just not doing anything at the crib. Well, Mom, we're not going anywhere. We about to play Uno. We're about to watch TV, and I'm about to do your nails. Like, we're about to chill. She's like, oh, I thought maybe we were going to do something today. Nope, not today. But
Ain't no protest today, Mama?
Right. She's like, so, Mom, I'm not going to be able to go to the rally with you? Nope, you're not going to this rally. So, no, we need to chill. So,
I love it.
No, creating that space and that balance so that she sees that I'm doing that too, but then also see that we have to have a normal life as well. And I have to make sure that I pour into her needs and let her be a kid. Like, it's really important for me to let her know that she needs to be a kid. Like, we have a date to go to the library. Like, she's not feeling it, but we going. She's like, oh, the library. Yeah, the library. We're going. So, just remembering that she's a kid and she needs to stay in that space as a child and to support her in that position. But just like you said, also be able to pour into her about the dreams and the visions that she has. Like, her vision was to help the homeless people. And I was like, okay, God, like, how can I make this happen? Like, she did a little bake
talk
sale.
about that. That's
right.
amazing.
So she's like, she would see the homeless people like on the corners and she's just like, Mom, like, I want to be able to help them. And so we would roll down the window, give money, but I was like, let's make a bigger impact. And so she's like, well, I want to do a bake sale. And so we collected baked goods from people in the community. And she did a little bake sale outside of the house. And we sent that money to one of the agencies here in Milwaukee, and it wasn't a lot, but it's what she wanted to do. So I'm like, okay, we want even a bigger impact. So I went and sat with the guest house for a volunteer opportunity, and they said, these are our needs. And I said, well, can we bring like a game night to the guest house at the men's shelter? And they were like, you know what? We do game nights. Like, they do bingo and blah, blah. I'm talking about dominoes and spades. They want to play that. She was like, they probably do. So once a month, Zoe and I collect hygiene products from folks in the community. We've had so many generous donors, and we've got just a ton sitting in our computer room right now. We make up bags of hygiene products as game prize bags. And so soap and deodorant and toothbrushes, and we pack that up, seal it with love. Sometimes Zoe will put a little note in them, and we go and deliver them to the guest house. So before the game night, we'll have a man that actually runs the game, so we don't have to stay there. But we'll go in, we'll speak. Sometimes Zoe will pray over the guys, and they have a game night, and they get those bags, and we're out. And the lady was just telling me the other day, because we did a drive with her school, and the school collected products, and they were like, we want to know like how this is affecting them. Can we get some feedback? And the lady from the guest house emailed me back, and she said, Pete, those guys like look forward to y'all coming with that game night.
Without a doubt.
And a lot of times people, she said, some people don't bring in prize bags and donation bags. So she was like, they look forward to getting those prizes from you guys. And when they don't come, like if we miss a month because we don't have someone to host it, they're like, man, they're looking for you. So it has been a blessing to be able to help her push out her dream, but then also have partners who have donated to us, men that take time out of their Friday nights to go and host that for us. My guy, Daniel Harris, Zach Mitchell, just guys who have also kind of been in that space before as well. So they're able to really minister and pour into those men in that space. So that's been really awesome for me to help her with that. And her organization is called Hands Outstretched. So yeah, we're working on a logo, and
big shout out to young Zoe.
To Zoe, right? She's in school,
That's love.
Getting it in.
That's love.
Yeah. So
how can people support that? Let's talk about that. How can people support that?
Yeah. So like I said, we collect these items. If anyone's interested in donating any of those items, we collect them all year long. They can email me at the1alternative@gmail.com. And like I said, I'm
Is that
also
the number one spelled out?
the actual number one, just the number one. And again, you can find me on Facebook, The One Alternative. No, we're actually on Facebook at The Alternative, or you can just look me up, Markasa Tucker, and I can get you information, and I can get those items that you want to get to me as well.
That support is big, and it doesn't take a lot to make a world of difference in somebody's day. I can only imagine how much they look forward to that and how
It's
much
so much fun.
I mean, it's a blessing, you know what I mean? And they know the source of it. That even make it more special. So, you know, whatever we can do to support that, we're going to do it. Keep us informed because that's an ongoing thing.
It is.
Game night.
It is.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. On a lighter note, Josh, what's up with some more Ghetto Boys? I mean, you know, you just dropped that on me for the intro. I mean, like, we could just keep, I don't know, Scarface.
We was jamming.
Yeah, we was jamming, man. We could take a music break in a second, man, if you pull something up good. And then we're going to talk about the alternative on the other side of the music. Y'all heard the contact. Y'all got the information. There's a lot of ways you can engage in support, and there's a lot of ways you can get support. The one alternative at gmail.com or on Facebook or any other social medias I'm imagining.
Twitter, Instagram, yep, I'm all over.
She's all over, so connect. You know, let's connect the dots. That's what we always talk about here. Let's make it a reality, and let's talk about how we can share these solutions and how we can measure these solutions too, because that's the other thing. You know, it's like this work is being put in, this work is being done, this group is doing that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I love the idea of convening. I'm a convener. I love the idea of having a specific tables for specific reasons and et cetera, et cetera. And then how do you measure like the success of those things? And part of it for me is just like asking people outside of these circles and outside of these tables, people that's not in these worlds that we collide in, you know, that we connect in, and others like us in the same mind frame, people outside of that. Ask those people questions that make you step back and think critically about some of the things that you are, your mission is drawing you to, or that you are like working hard on it. And like you said, how sustainable is it? You know, if it's not trickulating to the people and to the babies, you know what I mean?
Indeed. That's
for real, man. We good, Josh? Let's drop a musical break. You're listening to the Educational Arts Project. We'll be right back. I got Markasa in the building. It's exciting. We're building.
Indeed.
I used to always have Daytona play gangster music and shit. He used to think it was, funny. He's like, man, what you want me to play? Because one day I'd be like, Lauryn Hill or something, man. Like, play some old school jazz or something, right? Then some days I'd be like, man, you got some Kevin Gates? He's like, you serious? I'm like, yeah, bro, like, drop that.
I like variety.
Right. I'm like, man, drop that. I'll be in that mood this morning. I'm in that mood. I don't feel like Miles Davis today. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm feeling like something else today.
He said he can't get the stream online. What's the website? I know it's real.
What's the website, Jay?
IKJJradio.org.
IKJJ.
Is he using the phone?
I don't know. I'm about to post. Let me see. Yeah, he's down south. Let's get him on it.
Real Compton City, jeez. So we working with a couple different groups. You familiar with CJNY? The Red Institute. It's this national group that's been in Milwaukee for probably about like 3 years. They've been working with like ACLU, Urban Underground,
Hey, what's going on?
gang of networks of different groups.
You
They want to pull together a.
it's gonna sound that way.
They want to pull together
I don't know what's going on. I think that's
possibly in the fall. So we've been connecting with a couple of their partner organizations in Chicago and Detroit. When I say we, I mean True School. And so y'all have an umbrella of organizations that do the work. We're not trying to make any separate the people that's doing the work to do trainings and facilitate different things for young people. If you guys have young people that can do peer-to-peer sort of trainings and facilitations, that sort of thing. And then there's a follow-up. So this may look like a seminar or symposium or training, big thing, but not big. Did I just say big? Not that big, maybe back down here. But, yeah, but it is going to be big to get all these different youth to come and get some justice training, or to get some activism training from OGs, from like officials like ACLU, bringing in these Chicago groups. We met with some groups that are similar to ACLU that are like in the hood.
That's what I'm talking about.
They getting it in, like they getting it in on so many levels, and we was like, wow, we need this. So we're gonna connect those dots. There's some other components of it too. I'm gonna also send you some stuff.
I'm real interested in that. I'm real interested in the hood part of it, because people be skimming over that.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you don't get to that, then you're not really doing no real work in Milwaukee.
Exactly. And I'm actually meeting with COA on Burleigh next week to do a site visit to see if that could be a possible host. It's in the hood. In the hood is possible, but it got to be big enough to have breakout rooms, big enough where we got a major gathering. So think about it a little bit. If you think anywhere else that's in the hood that got that capacity where, parking, et cetera. So we've been building with a couple of youth from the underground, a couple of youth from the True School, as far as like just getting them to come up with the best approach. You know what I mean? To make it attractive to their demographic. So here we go, Josh. Easy does it. So I'm bringing that information. We on? We are back. It's the Educational Arts Project. We just had to go like Wisconsin style on y'all right quick. You know what I mean? Just bring a little bit of that, NWA appeal to this platform, what those letters mean. All right. We're back, and the conversation continues right where we left off, talking about some great work, some ongoing projects, some projects that's coming your way soon. If you're just joining us, I have Miss Markasa Tucker. Today, she's explaining a lot of what she does in the community, how she does it, and I think it's real dope because she's a convener and a connector, and we like to make sure that people understand the connections between arts and education, business, parenting, community, government, you name it. It's all about seeing the connections in this world, in this life, from my matrix at least. And this is my matrix, the Educational Arts Project, each and every Thursday. That's how we do it.
That's right.
Markasa. Now let's get into this alternative. That's one of the things that, like, when I first met you, you explained to me, and I was just like, wow, that's pretty cool. I always like the people that can step back and see the big picture and then say, you know what, let me create this, not for myself, but for this common thread, this common community that already exists, but let me pull it together. Let me sew it together a little bit and help it move. What is the alternative?
So the alternative is it's a Christian-based organization. It's not just for Christian. When people hear that, I'm like, that's my foundation, but this is not a closed community.
Well,
that's why I have to put my asterisk there. This is not for just Christian. This is a space for.
But when you say that, the first thing you say,
that's my base, though.
I'm just saying.
That's cool. That's my base. So, but we are a group of people who have come together from the arts community to make sure that we are able to share our gifts.
What kind of artist are you?
So I dibble dabble, but I'm not really, like, I've done spoken word. I sing. I'm teaching myself the bass. So that's just a little bit. I don't do very.
That's just what she's gonna reveal right now.
Right, and I just want to be the person that organizes.
That's what you told me before. You was like, no, I'm not performing. I'm not. No,
I'm not singing. I'm not doing any of that stuff. No, not right now. So yes, we share our light through our gifts, through the arts, and also through community engagement. When we first started, it was pretty much just like open mics, like spoken word and singing and dancing. And then, like I said, when I started getting to the social justice piece, I'm like, like this has to be a piece and a component of it. So, like I said, it's been a space where I've been able to open the eyes of the artists and create some awareness around that, but then also create some awareness in the community around the arts.
We already together. We already jamming, gelling. Let's get free. Let's get educated. Let's get involved. Let's get some more content to what we're doing and some more purpose to what we're doing. And you help to open that up for younger artists and artists that you're working with. And yeah, it may be Christian based, but that doesn't stop you from coming out of the church.
Never, because that's where we operate outside of the church's four walls. So the whole concept of the alternative came from just what it is. We wanted an alternative. I went to Poetry Unplugged when it was, I forgot what bar it was at. It was at the one on Villard. I forgot what the name of the spot is. And I did a piece there. And then I was like, you know what? I just wonder how many other folks like from church would be interested in coming and doing some spoken word at Poetry Unplugged. Probably not very many. So God just began to download the name, the alternative, and other things around it, and said, you know what, create the space then. Create the space where people will feel comfortable sharing their gifts, because they're not, back then they weren't on anybody's church's program. So it's like when they were doing their gifts, it's probably in the mirror, in a space with a bunch of kids or their friends. So we created a space where we could share our gifts freely, spoken word, singing, dancing. We got a whole live band that follows us. The group is called the Next Level Band, and the lead artist's name is DH. So we created that space where people could come outside the church's four walls and to share their gifts with other people in the community, and for people from the community to also come and be free and share their gifts as well. It's a clean atmosphere, so we want it to be family friendly, but I know artists know how to be clean, so that hasn't ever been a problem for us. So it's been really, really dope bringing artists from within the church and from the community together. Man, we've been doing some super dope stuff.
I actually know DH from booking him at some of my youth events years ago. It just so happened that like a lot of the Christian-based artists, if you will, they have great messaging and know how to keep it clean and have family-friendly material. So I'm like, yeah, come on. So I think we did a couple events with DH. So that's a very valid point. And to be able to connect those worlds, because for me it's about what's behind those beats and what's behind the fun, you know what I mean?
What's the message?
Exactly. And so, you know, that's great because you get it, and there's a great synergy that happens when you tear down walls and we tear down those fake divisions and illusions of divide. Like they don't have to be that. And just because you may walk this way in life and I walk that way in life, you know,
it doesn't mean we can't glean from one another.
Exactly. So, you know, that's something that we're gonna get into a little bit further on this platform as well, because it keeps coming up. You know, it keeps coming up in conversation because it's real. I mean, it's just a real thing with people in their lives, and we about tearing down divisions and uniting people. Like I always say, connecting the dots. The dots would be us. Actually, I'm talking about you, Dot. All of y'all. Exactly. Making it happen, making it really like plain to people that we all one. And there's circles outside of those circles, and there's circles outside of those circles, but ultimately we all should be moving in the same direction. Me and Josh was talking about that a little bit this morning. You know, Milwaukee is small walkie, as they say, and people, you know, really should come out of their bubbles a little bit, mentally and otherwise, you know, and begin to see how we can really push forward and claim what we want and have it, and really change the face of the community, change the heart of the community. We can do that.
We can do that.
And it's real. So people like yourself and the movement that you're building, and the people that are supporting that movement and building it with you, deserve a lot of credit. Y'all deserve a lot of love, and I appreciate what y'all doing. And I'm proud of y'all for staying the course, because it's easy to come up with a great idea and start something or put something out there, but it's a different thing when you stay consistent with it for years and years, and you let it grow and you let it breathe and you let it become, you know.
It's been amazing.
It's a powerful thing. I recognize it's a powerful thing. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate the people who rock with us and the artists who have steadily moved with us and how they're growing. It's been amazing to watch the artists grow. Like, oh my goodness, they're traveling all over the place. And this one guy, Cedric Horde, oh my goodness, y'all look him up on YouTube, look him up on Facebook, everywhere.
Spell it out so people can check it out.
Cedric, Cedric, last name Horde, Hoard. Like, he did this piece on Jordans. Oh my goodness gracious, it's on YouTube. Like it ended up going to World Star. It's amazing. Like his gift, like I'm so amazed and in awe of spoken word artists because they're able to take those words and the message and they rhyme. And I'm like, how they get those words together and it's just like so much dopeness. And yeah, so he's a pretty dope artist and he's been rocking with the alternative since the beginning, and to just see him grow has been amazing. Amazing.
Y'all look him up.
Indeed.
And maybe we'll get him on here eventually.
For sure.
That's what's up. And, you know, that's one thing I was going to tell you. I said, I didn't forget to tell Markasa she could open an invite to some of her crew or something like that. I didn't even mention that, but I meant to mention that.
You can just bring them on, yeah.
Yeah. We'll make that happen. We'll connect the dots and try to make sure that the people can know who's who and what's what, because there's a lot of components to what you're doing. So get the information again. How can people find out? Because you may have some artists that's listening and say, hey, that's for me. That's what I've been looking for. Yeah,
definitely connect with me, like I said, on Facebook at The Alternative Inc. Or by email, alternative@gmail.com. You can email me or find me on Facebook, Markasa Tucker, and inbox me and let me know that this is something that you want to do. We're actually preparing a reunion event, probably late spring, early summer, where we're going to bring back some of those artists who have been rocking with us from the beginning and artists who we have connected with since then, and just do something real dope, like out in the community. Like, and anytime an artist has come and performed or ministered with us, like they're in a family for life. Like that's it. So we want those people to come back, share their gifts, and have like a really dope space. Some vendors, a speaker maybe to come and encourage the folks. So that's what's really on tap next, and we're excited about that.
So, again, how can people get in touch with you?
Oh, and they can also call me. I'm not afraid to give my phone number out either. 414-699-5195. Text me. Don't be creepy. Just text me about that business stuff. You know, I'm just going to throw it out there and be honest. And you can email me again at the number one, alternative@gmail.com. Find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, The Alternative.
Yes. And it's a big deal to be able to have, you know, a jewel like Markasa right here on the Educational Arts Project, because she embodies what we really all about. And I can really honestly say that about all my past guests. You know, my guest list is incredible. I must say, it's just incredible. You can check out the archive episodes on the internet. You can follow us on periscope.tv/viva fidel and connect and comment on all the Viva Fidel social networks. We'll get like feedback. People might shoot me questions, or they might say some comments or feedback about some of the things you shared, and I'll share that with you as well. So tell us what's coming up as we close out into we in 2017 now. There's a lot of interesting energy in the air based on, you know, the political climate in the country. There's a lot of lead in the water locally. There's a lot going on, and people have a lot of concerns and a lot of things on their minds. You know, the people are kind of in a frenzy, if you will, right now, because quite honestly, if you're on the ground and if you are connected, you know, with the have-nots in any kind of way, then you understand that there's a certain urgency that's just in the air right now. You know, and people are taking different kind of risks these days. People doing a lot of things, and it's interesting. So what's coming down the pipe that you all are working with, that people can get engaged with, or that people should be aware of?
So there's like you said, like people are coming out the woodworks. You know, people are forming and coming together, and which is really, really awesome. I would just encourage people to, when you're on social media, like utilize that for the right thing type stuff. Like if you see someone talking about, you know, we're getting ready to gather, we want to go talk about, you know, how we can come up against like the Trump agenda and administration, some of the stuff that we don't like, or you see somebody talking about lead and they're going to have a press conference, go to that stuff and support it. Like, where does your passion lie? Like, what pisses you all the way off? Like, what takes you there? Whatever that is, like, that's what you are here on this planet to help create solutions around. So when you see that stuff, don't just pass it by. Don't just make a comment. Like, connect with those people and say, you know what? I see that you've been working really heavily on this issue, or I see that, you know, you talked about X, Y, and Z. How can I get involved? And you don't have to know it all. You don't have to be, you know, like an expert in this. just bring your passion, your drive, and your gifts to the table, and we can make that work. So, like when you see the Vaughn Mays out at Sherman Park, like quit, find ways where you can connect with him and support him on the work that he does with programming in the parks. Like that is a continuous stream of work that he's been doing some really awesome work behind. So it's like, those kids are going to be back there in the spring. You know that they're coming in the summer. So what can you do to work with the people who are already in that space to expand those efforts and make it happen? Like, what are your resources? So just connect with people that you already see out there doing it. And again, connect with me. I'm connected to a lot of people, and I might not be the person that's doing it, but I might be able to connect you to someone who is doing it.
That's critical.
Man.
That's critical. Connectors. That's who we have here on the Educational Arts Project. It's exciting. And the work that's being done on the ground, as you're referring to, is exciting. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of ways, there's a lot of gateways and access points that people can get involved. And also, at the very least, I always tell people just come ready to learn. Just, open up your mind and just,
Yes.
That's part of, for me at least, for my little humble space and projection, that's part of the issue. A lot of times people containers already full with all this stuff that they already know, and they already stuck. They full, so there ain't no room for nothing. So you can't tell them nothing. There ain't no room to grow or connect because they cup is full already. Let them tell it. So I just say empty your cup, keep emptying your cup on the regular so you can be filled up, so you can have a space to grow and room to learn and room to be challenged. I think that's important. We don't know everything, and we open for critique, if you will, or for improvement. Ultimately, is what we want. You know what I mean? We want to improve. We want to get better and faster and stronger. That's what it's about. Better and better.
For real. And
the Educational Arts Project support that. So the audience that we've been building, and the people that have been rocking with this conversation and my guests, they also understand that, or they put it this way, they always ask, like, how can they get involved? Like, people wait for something to happen. People wait for somebody to do something or ask for something. You know what I mean? And it's kind of what you alluded to earlier. Like, imagine when we all came to this point, because we all are doing a lot of great work in pockets and silos, et cetera, et cetera. So we have to really start thinking about what those things look like for the people, not for the leadership or for the organizations, but for the mass. What does that look like? And how can we engage that, population and inform in different creative ways?
Go out and canvas, man. That door to door.
That door to door.
I mean, it's critical. I mean, how else are you going to go out and connect with the people if you aren't going out and connecting with the people? Like going out and fellowship. And, I know we love to go down and sit and break bread. I mean, but that's what we need to do. Go out and break bread and have those real conversations.
We was explaining this the other day.
Go make a sandwich.
About how, everybody ain't on Facebook. We was explaining this in the meeting the other day. Social media ain't for everybody.
Yep.
Everybody ain't on that. Everybody ain't about that life. So you're not reaching everybody, and that's great, actually. So grandma and them, who wisdom we need.
Wisdom.
You understand? And they waiting on it. They waiting on it. And
somebody to come and glean from
them. And you'll
them.
find that out when you knock on them doors. You'll find that out when you approach them.
Jewels.
That's right.
Man.
That's right. We're currently doing some surveying, and we're currently doing some canvassing, and it's amazing, the jewels that's in our community and the wealth of heart and passion and love that's in our community. You wouldn't maybe conceive that from the outside, or you wouldn't if you believe in what you're hearing on the news every day, all day, but that's important. So give out your information one more time so people can get in touch with you, because I'm all about the connections, just like you are. That's why you're here. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
I appreciate
so much
you
for
coming
having
in.
me.
I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your work.
Thank you.
And we're going to build. Shoot out your information for the people.
Indeed. So again, it's Markasa, Markasa. You can find me on Facebook, last name Tucker, or The Alternative Inc. on Facebook. Also, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram.
She's pretty active online. She's pretty active.
I've actually paused. Like I'm pausing from midnight.
But you got a lot going on,
afternoon.
so you help inform people and keep
do.
people abreast of what's going on. And I come across it every once in a while. I'm like, boom, you catch me up on things sometimes. So keep it up.
And that's right. And that's why I know I'm like, I can't totally leave social media, but I definitely, because I want to be able to continue to make people aware. You can also email
fast
me
from time to time.
Oh, and that's what I'm doing, midnight to afternoon. But I did come in and pop in just to say that I was going to be on, just to put the
what you're supposed to do. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so again, the one alternative at gmail.com. Hit me up, and I look forward to seeing some of you guys out in the community and hearing from you. And let's connect and let's build and come outside those boxes. I mean, my boy Dante Martin has really been on me about that. Like, iron sharpens irons. Come out of those boxes.
That's
and
right.
Let's build together. See
That's
the big
real.
picture.
That's real. I appreciate that sentiment. We should sample that and make that a part of our conversation here,
I like
Josh.
it.
We got to come out those boxes. We got to bust them bubbles. We got to connect these dots.
Tear them walls down.
Tear these walls down. What walls? They all in your mind. It ain't even no walls. That's why I always tell people, ain't no silos. Y'all just
Talking about something.
yeah. It's like all these. Oh my goodness! Don't get me
We can
started.
go on and on and on. Right.
Because where we from, we have to be able to navigate. We have to be able to go through different worlds.
Community, dude.
Yeah, we have to be able to go through different worlds. Everybody don't look the same, walk the same, talk the same. We have to be able to do that. So other people who try to build up them fake walls and other things, that don't work.
Distraction.
That don't work. That don't work for conveners
Or connectors.
or organizers
That's right.
or artists for that matter.
Or us.
Or
Period.
us. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, let's ride out into the sunset.
Peace, y'all.
Love. Connect with us next week, Thursday, the Educational Arts Project. Yes, man.
Dopeness.
Oh, yeah.
Somebody hit me up and said, you just dropped the F-bomb on the radio.
You know what? I thought I heard it, but I was like, maybe I didn't.
You thought you heard it. It was just a little.
Alternative
so
facts.
quick.
Alternative
Alternative
facts.
facts.
There you go.